Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. The impacts of COVID-19 have been many and varied. Of course, the most serious consequence has been the loss of life and the impacts, of course, on both the victim and their loved ones. Sadly, none of us have escaped. All of us have been touched. Hit hard, of course, has been our local small to medium-sized businesses, including our clubs, our pubs, our gymnasiums, our restaurants. The impact has been very considerable. And amongst them, Mr Deputy Speaker, has been the demise of our local community newspapers. In my electorate alone, we've lost the Lakes Mail, the Cessnock Advertiser, the Singleton Argus, the Muswellbrook Chronicle, the Hunter Valley News. All very high-quality newspapers run by Australian community media and all essential services in our local communities. Thanks to them, we know what's happening in the local council and its decision-making. We know what's happening in the local economy. We know who has achieved locally, whether it be in sporting or academic or cultural endeavours. Tragically, we learn who has sadly passed. Mr Deputy Speaker, certainly a lot of older Australians still rely heavily. They don't have the sort of access to social media platforms that so many of us have, and they rely heavily on the advice of our local newspapers. Businesses still rely on our papers to undertake their advertising and marketing. So they are a very, very great loss, Mr Deputy Speaker. Of course, our local newspapers also create jobs and indeed have been a training ground for so many high-quality journalists who have made their way to the national stage. Sadly, though, our local papers were under threat before COVID-19, long before then, because while we should never push back against technology, technology has allowed the big international global players like Google and Facebook to steal, in effect, their local content without paying anything for that service. And sadly, the government has let these organisations down by not moving more quickly to help them combat these changes in our society. Let's hope that our local community newspapers, which are operating online, of course, are able to revive themselves post-COVID-19. Another important point post-COVID-19 will be the energy debate, more important than ever, and I welcome the fact that in New South Wales that Santos's Narrabri gas project looks very, very close to approval now after about 10 years in the making. This will bring great benefits to the Hunter because it would enable a pipeline to come through our region, supplying new energy, cheaper energy, creating jobs, particularly in the manufacturing sector.